Alright guys, you're not going to believe this, but I literally just filmed this entire video and my screen wasn't even recording the entire time. So, well, here's round two. Let's just start the recording. There we go. Come on, sync up the audio. Okay, let's get right back into this. So, wait, let me just look at the script. BRB. Dude, you see this shit? My light just died, so we're doing this episode in the dark rather than my sick backlight setup. Actually, you know, I'm just gonna fix it. Today I'm gonna be going over a project. It was a collaboration with a local skate shop, and I'm just gonna go over the color grading and show you guys my genius level node trees and all that stuff. Before we start the video, be sure to leave a like, or else the color grading gods are gonna give you bad luck for a couple years. So be sure to get us to 300 likes, because until then, until we hit 300, your color grades are honestly gonna not be good. So please share this video, and if you see that the like count is under 300 right now, you better start sharing that video, because otherwise this video is going to have the opposite effect that you want it to have on your skill level in terms of color grading. So yeah, let's get right into the video here. Go to the color tab, and are you guys ready for this? I'm about to show you my top secret node trees. You're not going to believe what you're going to see before your eyes here. So yeah, so this is obviously has no grade on it, because this is just a graphic. So obviously there's no grade. So let's head to the first shot here. Boom, there you go, guys. You see this? Look at this grade. We got tons of advanced notes here. This is what you're probably expecting to see, right? But in reality, there's actually no correction grade, or no correction on this clip. So that was a lucky clip, I guess. Really good in camera. Let's just go to the next one here. There's a graphic. Alright, there we go. Oh yeah, so this street sign one. I wonder how... Oh yeah, we got some grades. We got a nice grade going on here. Let's see the before after. Oh wait, all I did was change the exposure. Alright guys, so my trick is that I actually didn't really do any corrections on any clips. So this is actually a trick video. You expected for me to show you all my sick grading tips, but in reality, I'm going to give you a lesson on how to shoot good footage in camera, so that when you get to grading, you can actually focus on making it even better and not just like focusing on fixing what you shot wrong on set. So number one thing that I would recommend for nailing your in-camera look is a diffusion filter. There's tons of these. There's like Cinebloom, Tiffin. I have the Tiffin Black Pro Mist quarter and the 1/8, but I only really use the quarter because I really like the effect. But if you don't know what a diffusion filter is, real quick, I'll just show you. This is with the diffusion filter on. Flashlight is blooming out, and when I take it off, flashlight is not blooming anymore. Another thing it does is look at the contrast on my face. Take it off. It takes away contrast. So the two things it does is it takes away contrast, so you have more dynamic range in camera, and it blooms the highlights, which is called, what's it called again? It I give up. I don't know. I just call it blooming the highlights, but there is a fancy word for it. So if you're gonna look it up and comment down below and make fun of me for it, go right ahead. I'm not gonna respond to the comment, so enjoy that, making fun of me for not knowing the word, I guess. So number one is diffusion filter. Once you have that, you're one step closer. Step two is nailing your colors, I think. So for the white balance, what I did for pretty much everything I shoot from now on, I just pumped like 3 points into green as like a custom white balance adjustment. If I do it in camera, in my opinion, it's a more clean way of getting that look. And then for white balance, like temperature, for the outside shots, I did just the cloudy preset because it's cloudy. If it was sunny, I would do the sunny preset. But for interior, you'd think I would do 3200, but in reality, I used 4300 because I wanted to kind of preserve some of the warmth inside of the interior scenes right here. So I should probably, yeah, like, kind of forgot I was screen recording here. That was a little monologue there. But, you know, in reality, guys, it's not really about what's on the screen here in DaVinci Resolve. It's about what you're doing on set. So that's the most important lesson in this video. Yeah, so as you can see here inside, there is a little bit of warmth And I guess I wouldn't really want to set to 3200 because there is a lot of light coming in from outside, so it's not really a like isolated 3200 kind of temperature zone. But you can see there's still warmth and there's a little bit of green, and it just feels like nice, you know? Feels homely. Look at that. Would you really want this to be like balanced to white, or would you want that slight orange glow? Okay, so number 3 thing that you want on set to really dial in your look in camera so you don't have to focus on that in grading is, I mean, this is like controversial, but I mean, if you're on like a movie set, maybe don't do this because there's going to be like artifacts maybe potentially, but variable and defilter, I mean, I know you guys are going to hate me, but these things are fucking handy. You just twist it and it goes darker, it goes lighter, and you can infinitely fine-tune it just a tiniest bit. Whereas like with sets of ND filters, it doesn't really give you that fine control that you need. So now that we're past the on-set portion, I will, you know, give you what you want. I'll show you the actual grade. So don't expect too much because, as I told you before, it's mostly achieved through in camera. But I'll give you a quick before or after here for the grade. So this is with the grade on. That's what you've been looking at this whole time. I'm going to bypass it now so you can see the before. Oops, wrong button. Alright. Oh, yeah, I guess we could do that, actually. Okay, here we go. Bypass right now. Wait, no. This is bypassed. Okay. It's even hard for me to tell. It's barely different. Okay, so this is off. No grade. Grade. So as you can see, there's barely any difference, but it does just bring it home and put that polish on it. Kind of makes the characters stand out more and the background stand out less. Okay, so you can see what the grade's doing a lot more in this one. Like right here, if you zoom in over here, this is off, on, off, on. You can see it really takes the contrast out of the shadows. If you look down at the spectroscope here, you can see that the contrast in the shadows is really being reduced by this grade. That's the biggest thing it's doing. Second biggest thing it's doing is kind of taking everything down overall. But I can actually go into this grade here. So this is the actual grade. Here it is, guys. This is the genius level node tree I was talking about, teasing at beforehand. It's not very genius level. It's pretty basic in terms of Davinci Resolve grades. There's some pretty crazy stuff out there. But yeah, I'll run through this real quick. So we'll just disable everything except for the first node. Okay, so boom. First node, what's it's doing is it's decreasing the contrast and it's decreasing the saturation. So let's just fire through here. That's all it's doing. Boom. Second node is bringing up the gain. As far as I can tell, that's all it does. Boom. Third node. Oh, oops. Alright, hope that didn't fuck something up. Went to full screen by accident. So third node, this is where it gets interesting. As you can see down here, looks like it's just increasing the contrast. But in reality, this is a film look at 8.8%. So at 100%, it would look like this. But what I did is I just set this to 8% to get a tiny little bit of this look. And that's what that looks like. But I noticed that, for example, in this clip, it was making the bricks, when I turned it on, it was making the bricks, oh, it's this one. It was making the bricks look a little bit too blue. So this is off, on, on. And that's because it is, if you really jack it up. So what I did was, if I exaggerate this one as well, I offset it with a bit of color here, so that instead of blue, it's yellow, so it's kind of like a more warm look. And then, here's what that looks like when it's really lightly adjusted. So, off, on, off, on, off, on. You can see just over here in the scopes, it just brings the blue down a tiny bit and the red up a tiny bit. This one is where we just bring everything down. contrast is lowered, and the gamma is lowered, and then the gain is just increased because the contrast brings it down so much that you gotta kind of bring it up a little bit more. Then we also decrease the shadows a little bit, so this is where the softening happens, where it brings the shadows down towards the blacks. Now this one is where it lowers the lift back down, so that it's not looking too kind of hazy. We want to have a little bit of, nice shadows. Alright, and then after that, we have sharpening. Let me turn off the proxy. Width. Without, width, without, width. You can see just down here, like how much the sharpening kind of like makes everything shine a little bit. So you know it's working. It's just at the 48 right now. Okay, and then we have the film grain, which is super, super subtle. I can tell a tiny bit, but I probably didn't even need to do that. But, it basically, if you exaggerate it, it does this. There you go. So that's the entire grade. Before, you can really see it in this one. After, before, after. Just look how much shadows are being lifted. Before, after. Right here, before it looked like a huge, distracting shadow everywhere under this mat. And then, in this black box right here was so dark. And then, boom, now it looks like the same tone as his jacket, which just brings it all together, because in reality nobody cares that his jacket is lighter than that box. Why does the audience need to know that the jacket's lighter than the box? Boom, turn it on, now everything just makes more sense, and it's like, alright, the box is dark, so is the jacket, they're equal, it doesn't need to be darker than the other one, so yeah. It just brings the attention to the focus of the board, rather than to all the weird contrast stuff that's going on around the environment. So as for camera settings, everything was shot in f1.4. Shutter speed was 180 degree shutter, so whatever my frame rate was, say 24 FPS, which is what it is in a lot of this. For 24 FPS, I was shooting in 1/50th. I would shoot 1/48th if I could, but you can't do that fine adjustment on the Sony a6600. But then when I was shooting the skateboard slow-mo shots over here, I was using 60 FPS, so 120th of a second. Yeah. So that's that. ISO was always below, it was within the range of 64 to 400, 500. I can go down to 64 because I'm shooting an HLG. Probably should have mentioned that. that's like one of the big in-camera things. So HLG, more dynamic range, and it's also nice because it works within the kind of 8-bit limit of the camera. Because if you use too flat of a profile like S-Log, then it's gonna be really hard to recover the colors and banding and stuff like that. So HLG is really nice because it allows for more dynamic range, but also doesn't cause all these artifacts that are known from the other log profiles. Yeah, so I'll show my picture profile settings here on the screen because I don't have them memorized and I can't really check because I'm using my camera. So I'll put them on the screen here, and you can copy them if you want. I know some people will be selling their in-camera settings, and it's like, all right, I'm just gonna give them for free because I don't think I could even close a single sale on selling my presets right now because I have like 270 subscribers, as one of my commenters pointed out earlier today, which gave me a sudden burst of depression, obviously, and spiraled me into a state of insane sadness for the rest of the day. Guaranteed, guys. I was crying for the entire day because I only had 270 subscribers. So let's get to 500 subscribers. That would really be awesome. I would say that after this video is done, I will be able to enjoy the rest of my night and do whatever I want to do. But the reality is, I gotta edit this video, which I'm not too fond of. I kind of wish I was just streaming this, to be honest. Then I wouldn't have to do the whole editing thing. But yeah, so I'm gonna go edit this video. Hopefully this helped you guys. If you have any more questions about this project or any other projects, then let me know and I'll get to them, try to answer them. I don't have all the projects for everything I've made because I kind of reset my computer and delete stuff a lot, but I'll do the best I can to answer any questions you have. Also, might have forgotten to mention it. The lens I used for that film, this film, was this Sigma 60mm f1.4 and the Sigma 30mm 1.4. So yeah, that's the last bit of details I think I might have missed. So yeah, see you guys in the next video. Peace.